Hello, hello. Happy Saturday to you. It is that time again where we're here on the best day ever. Why? Because it's my show. That's why. Guys, look. This morning, most of y'all were up. I was like thumbing through my news feeds, watching that royal wedding. So I hope that you have not dozed off or went to sleep because you are now watching and listening to That's What's Up with Jacosta on 108 Praise Radio, where we are always voicing the gospel. I mean, I love too, you know? Yes. And it was nice. And wasn't it black? I'm just playing, but it really was. When they started singing Stand By Me, I knew. So let's talk about what's up in the world. That's what's up with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. I was sitting there and I was like, oh, this is nice. But y'all know I didn't wake up like that. Like I rewind because I DVR'd it so that I could give you guys key points. Her mom came through with the dreads. I'm like, yes, give it to him, mom. Hat tilted to the side. Woo! And then when the gospel choir started singing, I knew we had made it. I was like, Meghan, amazing. Then when the young man started playing the cello, I was in awe of him, which I love classical music. For most of you know, I play like 4 instruments. So I love music. But literally, I think it's absolutely amazing that this world collided with our world in a world that we've been living in that's so divided still. You guys, you follow me on that? So I thought it was amazing how he looked at her and I was like, oh, wait a minute. He really loved her. You know? Yeah. Like when she got there and then they started singing Stand By Me, he's like, this is what I've been talking about all my life. When I was in Vegas doing it up when I shouldn't have been, I got that girl, you know? He got that round-away girl from Cali, from Oakland, and who just can carry herself with such poise and literally probably could get hood if you mess with her. So it's like he has the best of both worlds, and their union was amazing. Then when the bishop came through, I was like, preach to him, let him know.
From Chicago.
Yes, from Chi-Town. What? Yeah, brother. So I was like, it was good. It was, and I'm not a person that'll sit and like watch a wedding like that.
Right.
That's why, DVR'd it. So I fast forward to the key points, okay? And yes, I loved him talking about love. And I said, a few months ago that I'd speak on love for the remainder of this year. I take on words and topics all the time that wherever I go, I'll speak on it. So when I said love is mentioned 310 times in the Bible because a man told me love ain't the problem. And then here it is, a man all the way across the water, right? He was talking about love, like how love can just conquer it all. Love can stand to the test. Love is amazing. He talked the entire time he talked about love. He gave different aspects of it. I was in awe because Jacosta told y'all, love is serious, okay? And I know how powerful love is, but I know also a lot of people play with it. And I don't like that. Now, did you watch?
Yeah,
your wife had you watching it, didn't
No,
she?
I actually woke her up to watch it.
What?
Yeah, we were just in London a week and a half ago. And so she was excited about
Hold up.
No,
we're going to get to that part later. He said we was just in London. Now, I've just brought them in. Let me bring them in on my That's What's Up. This morning, I have none other than financial strategist Marvin. I always want to be like, Marvin Sapp in the building. Marvin Smith.
Hello.
He's here this Saturday. And we're going to just have some good conversation. Social talk is what I call it. Okay. And a little bit of news talk. And definitely in all of that, you have business. So hence, Marvin's in the building. And we're going to get to the whole wedding part in London. And then over here to my left, we have John McKee, great businessman. So I have 2 good businessmen next to me. So good morning to you, sir. Good morning. Happy Saturday.
Good morning.
Now, you were in London just a while ago. So was it all the rave?
Yeah. Actually, we were there, my wife and I, a week and a half ago. We were there with our publisher with our new book that's coming out. and we had to go to London for 3 days. And it was amazing. Megan and the Prince are all over the place. It was like all the talk, buttons, souvenirs everywhere.
Really?
Yeah, it was amazing. And we were in walking distance from like Buckingham Palace. And it was amazing. You
Wait a minute, where my button at?
I got you. I got you. I got a magnet.
Brother, where is my button?
I got a magnet for the refrigerator.
Okay. I love it. Was that your first time?
Yeah, that was our first time. Yeah.
Lovely.
It's about 6-7 hours off. But other than that, the weather was great. And they said normally it's really raining and cold all the time, but it was amazing. And all everybody was talking about was the wedding that was coming up.
See, because they were excited.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. Like, royal weddings are usually big deals anyway, but this one.
Yeah.
Because they are doing everything non-traditional, but traditional.
Right.
Because they kept some great aspects of the British, and I love that part of it. But also, you can see that it was her American roots, you know. And then for her veil to have the significance of all the flowers of her philanthropy, because she is a philanthropist. And like a lot of people don't do their research to know more about her, yet and still they're like, she's an opportunist. Oh, this is where, and I'm like, she was doing things before she met this guy. She was in philanthropy. She was a huge philanthropist. She may not have been that huge star that you guys were looking for in Hollywood, which she had became with Suits, but she was working. Ever since she was little, that was her thing. You know, so I'm like, kudos to her. If you just so happen to bag a prince, boom, you know, because all girls will be like, I'm a princess, and you play these little games, but you never in a million years think you're gonna be the president of the United States. Come on, somebody, right? Or a princess, and a biracial princess.
On top of that,
okay, the closest we thought we were gonna get was what is it? The Tiana from the Frog, and what was it? You know, the Disney. That's all our little girls had to look up to. You know, that I'm being honest and serious. That's the real. You know, so that's what's up for the entire week. You know, Trump. So you like that one. You know, because I could say that's what's up. Well, you know what? No. That's what's up in politics. Let's say that you got to vote. Because a lot of people don't go out and vote. They only go vote for the president. They forget the senators. They forget voting for the governor. Okay? Have you did your homework? Have you researched the people who are up for governor? Because if you haven't, you need to. Because voting is imperative, especially right now. Okay? So if you haven't voted, you know, shame on you. That's that politics, because I'm not going any further. But I definitely want to send our prayers out to Texas again. Here it is, another shooting at a school. And, you know, it's crazy because our students are afraid. They're fearful of tests. They're fearful of making bad grades. And now they're fearful of being shot. Come on. This is crazy. This is absolutely ridiculous. And I say to the students, if you see something, say something. If you know your friend is talking about, you know, I'm going to kill all of y'all. Well, don't take it as lightly as you want to. Just say to yourself, wait a minute, that boy might be telling the truth, you know? Look into it. Tell somebody. So I encourage every last one of the students, kids, even adults, you know what your children are doing. And if you don't, shame on you. Okay? So now, that's what's up pretty much in the world, I think. But I had some questions. I'll ask those questions like in the second half from women. I want to talk to you two gentlemen just about, we have ended the tax season, right? And now you find people who get money back. Bless your souls. God is good to you. Be thankful. I I hate it that they just spend it.
Yeah.
And here it is, financial guru over here to my right. What say you to the people who don't have life insurance, who don't have a savings, who don't even have a checking account? And I don't mean they don't have it. You know, it's like $2 in it. What say you? Talk to those people, because they went out and bought a car that probably is on his last leg now because they didn't go to a reputable place, but they used their taxes, put down payment, and then now they need another down payment just to get it fixed. You know, let's talk to those people, because that's serious, and that happens every year. Do you know that?
Yeah, every year. And I think the main thing for most people is to make a plan. Like, number one, actually take a look at your credit. You got a bunch of free ways to do that with annualcreditreport.com. You have Credit Karma. Take a look at your credit and figure out what you can do to get yourself in a position where when you do go to spend money or buy a major item, that you'll be able to save on your interest rate. Because a lot of times it's not what you make, it's actually what you keep. And in those times with tax time, like you said, you got it. When you're going to make those major purchases with a car, a house, or whatever it is, even appliances, you know, think about what you can save as far as your interest rate and your payments. Because, you know, we all live month to month, and it's all about what you're able to keep during the month, not actually what you spend. What
you're able to keep.
Yeah.
So how would you know how like Clark Howard will post the, like, save, what is it, $2? Or how, I don't know, a day, or you know what I'm talking about, right? And but some people can't do that, you know. I'm not one of them.
Yeah.
Because I pinch pennies.
Right.
You know, if a penny could be cut in half and made something else, I would make it. That's just me, you know. But I want to know, like, what would be your ideal to tell a person? Because here it is, they don't know.
Right.
Tell them, Marvin, like, how would you start? This is somebody who doesn't know.
Gotcha.
They're not a great saver.
Right.
Not a good budgeter.
Right.
You know, what would you say to them?
You know, I got a good friend of mine that made it real simple one time. You know, most people, like you said, leaving the home and going to the bank to deposit, maybe too big of a stretch. You could actually just get an envelope and and the rule of thumb is take 10% and try to save it. But it could be as simple as put a little money in the envelope and put that envelope up to save it. And eventually when you get enough or you feel it's enough and you can make it to the bank, actually go put it in the bank and save it. But, you know, the rule of thumb is to try to save 10% of your income and pay yourself first. Like, we'll make sure we pay the cable bill, utility bill, the rent, the mortgage, the car note. But why not pay yourself and have some money left over for when you get older that you'll actually have something to lean back on? Because as you get older, you're not going to have that same thirst of work, and eventually we may not be able to work. And you got to think about saving something for a rainy day, as they used to say.
Save something for a rainy day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, but they don't do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't disagree with you. I totally agree with you. What say you, John?
Same thing, man. You got to pay yourself first. There's some creative ways to do that now, and I think that it's more important that it changes your mindset and how you feel about yourself when you look in your account. There's actually money there, or when life happens, you can actually do something about it other than call family members to borrow money. There's selflender.com. You can check that out. You can actually put, up to $200 a month away in a CD, and it reports to all 3 credit bureaus, so you're actually stashing money and repairing your credit at the same time. So just get creative, man, and challenge yourself. I had a close friend of mine. He just got a nice, $15,000 raise. And instead of changing his lifestyle and finding new ways to spend that additional revenue, he's psyching himself out by increasing his 401k and maxing that out, and living off the same money he's been accustomed to living off of. So a lot of times we get more money and we find more things to do with it, and we stay in the same predicament. And I realized that when you pay yourself first, you don't miss it. You don't miss that money.
Right.
You think you will, but you don't miss that money.
And it becomes a habit after a while.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So pay you and Jesus too. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
So pay myself. Definitely pay your tithes. Okay. Don't leave that out. I want to ask you about people's credit. That's a touchy subject.
Right.
Nobody wants to talk about their credit.
Right.
I don't understand. Like, okay, I get it. No, not really.
Right.
Because, I mean, if I need help and I know somebody who can help me, I'm going to come to you.
Right.
And just say, bruh, like, I've done some things wrong.
Right.
Or, you know what? It doesn't even matter.
Right.
Credit's jacked.
Right.
Help us out. You know, like,
Right.
but that's something that's taboo, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
People are scared to talk about it. It's kind of like sex. People don't want to discuss it, but they want to do it.
Right. Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Right. Well, first, you can get a lot of tips from our website at
give it to them, please.
DKRGroupFinancial.com.
Mm-hmm.
We have a blog on there that gives a lot of myths or questions that you may have about credit. Because like you said, credit is kind of a taboo subject that we all have, but we rarely actually talk about or even want to sometimes understand. Because when you make mistakes, the last thing you want to do is sit there and look at it. And looking at your credit report sometimes could remind you of bad times. It could have been a loss of job,
marriage,
death in the family, divorce.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Divorce. Loss of income. It could have been a lot of things. But I'm like you. The first step is actually facing it and looking at it. And like I said, you got a lot of free ways that you can go look at it. You can go once a year legally. You can go to annualcreditreport.com and actually look at all 3 bureaus. And after that, make a plan to fix it. It may even be paying an old medical bill or a phone bill or utility bill or whatever it is. Actually try to call those creditors up first. See if you can negotiate with them for a lesser amount if you can. And actually pay those bills. And then from this point on, get a few credit cards or apply for a department store card and just make those payments on time. I mean, because all you got is
time.
Yeah. Yeah, what you got is the on-time payments is what'll help you build a good credit score.
So look, could they come to you?
Yeah, definitely. We can coach you on how to repair those items on your credit, and if you want to build credit, or even it's a situation where you can add credit. Yeah, like he mentioned about the self-lender.com.
Oh, okay.
You're able to save money and get it to report all three bureaus. You got
and that's really important.
Yeah, and you got
a friend of mine. He had a lot on his credit, but it was only reporting to TransUnion. Like AG, he banked with one company, had his car loan, a line of credit, and a credit card, all from the same bank, and they only reported to TransUnion, no one else.
Right.
So you go to buy a house, they pull all 3 credit scores, and they give you a blended rate. But you only have one good credit score, and everything else is shot. So yeah, make sure you check into that as well.
So basically, you need to keep up with your credit, like literally. And are people still able? Because you know how back in the day people were using their kids' credit.
Yeah.
Are people still able to do this?
Yes. My mom did mine.
This
light bill was on in all 3 kids' names by the time it was all said and done.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a lot of times, like in my family, I'm a junior. My uncle's name is Marvin. My dad's name is Marvin. My cousin's name is Marvin.
And
so,
that can become cumbersome. So how do you work that out? Because somebody's calling you and you're like, I ain't buy this, you know?
But like you said, the first step is actually looking at their credit report to make sure all your information is actually reporting correctly. To make sure it's your name, your date of birth, your address, and your social. Because what happens, just like in a case in my family, it could easily merge. Like, your credit reports can actually merge with phone numbers, addresses, all of that. So the first step is pulling that report and making sure everything is accurate. If it's not, contact the bureaus and dispute those items. And actually get whatever is negative or reporting incorrectly, get it changed or deleted. And it's just as simple as calling them and saying that this phone number is not mine, could you please delete it? I mean, it could be really simple. Like you said, you got to contact all 3 bureaus. You got Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Well, that makes sense. And stop and don't look. I love all of you all with the love of God. And okay, God, I ain't gonna say it. But let's not put our things in our kids' names. Let's stop that, okay? All right, credit guru. Let's get this credit right, okay? Now, first question.
Right, she got notes.
I hope that is going to be good. So what do you guys think the difference in dating someone's pattern and dating someone's potential? Like, oh, he's a potential mate, but that may be just a pattern of his.
Right. And I guess, in that situation.
So we're segueing from credit to if credit ain't good, you dating a pattern. I'm just playing. To dating. Boom. Because you're married.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm married. I think in the dating game, now I've heard, because of course I'm married now, but people are actually asking the other person to see their credit report before they get involved.
I've heard that too. Do you disagree?
Check.
No, I need to know your status.
Yeah, let me get you.
Okay, HIV, herpes, chlamydia, gonorrhea, that stuff is real. Okay, I don't care what it is. The claps, I need to know. Let's be real. And he talking about, no, you might not show me your credit, but what you will show me is that status. Let me see negative, negative, negative. Don't ever let me see a P pop up on one of those things. Okay, ladies, you better take it serious. I'm so serious. Okay? Because they'll burn you and move on. Mm-hmm. He's like, because he's saying it's happened before. He just saying he agreed. People be like, dang, that was a strong They'll get you, Mom. I'm telling you. Yeah, in this day and time, they will rewind that stuff back. Be like, and then your wife be like, what? What are you talking about? Like, people are crazy. But no, for real. Like, he up here talking about get the health report before the credit. All right.
But the credit report is important because, we had this podcast we did I think it was about a week ago. And, getting married and actually bringing those two financial worlds together could cause some problems. I mean, if you got judgments, if you buy a house, now that judgment is attached to your house. Or if it's tax problems, you could get a tax lien, and then that involves the two people that are married now. So.
And people never listen to me when I say that. Like, literally, no, you have to pay attention to these things. They're very serious. And I know you probably like, well, I love him or I love her, and that's all that matters. No, okay. That is all that matters. I don't disagree. But the credit situation matters too. And if you're not willing to stick it out and help them with it, then you might want to not start it. So if you have a choice in marrying that person and not, I would say take the not. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying. That's just smart thinking.
Yeah. And long term, like you said, you definitely got to take certain things into consideration.
Because you don't want to learn from experience. So with you, let me ask you one more question. So did you marry for potential or for you saw, oh, she looks good,
right
I don't care, she go to church or not, she fine. Or was it, oh man, she's a smart woman, she's a woman of God. What did you see? What was it? Because are you marrying that potential or?
Yeah, I would actually say with my wife, Gloria Smith, it was definitely, it was all three. I could almost say all three. Because I was in a situation where my son had a really, really bad accident, and we were friends, and she said, she called me, and in that time I was going through a lot mentally, and she said, we're going to put you on our prayer call. I was like, wow. Like, we were just friends.
She got you with Jesus.
So she got
boom, Jesus all the time. Jesus will lay it down, that foundation.
Yeah. And then after that, she's a restaurateur, and she's getting ready to open up another restaurant called Cafe Social House on Veterans Highway. And
let me get that invite.
Yeah, I saw the potential as far as she's an entrepreneur, and she has a thirst for, actually being successful. So like you said, it was potential, God, and she looked good.
Okay, so, and not to pry, because you can tell me to stop, but this is your second marriage?
Yes, my second marriage, yeah.
Okay.
I'm divorced, and she was divorced as well.
What?
So we both learned a lot, I think, from our first marriages.
And so you didn't bring it into this?
No, we
but
both.
But you said, okay, she was my friend, and da-da-da-da. So, friend, guys.
Right.
Hello.
Yes.
You have to have a friend first,
yeah,
to know that if that's going to be your true lover. You know, do you understand where I'm coming from?
And we were real serious about being friends, and we also let our kids meet first before we even got serious, just to make sure, you know, there'd be no conflict with the kids, because she has her kids, I have mine. Mm-hmm. I have 4 and she has 2, and we wanted to make sure if we were going to get closer in our relationship that first our kids got along first. So I thought that was really important, and definitely the friendship.
Wow.
Smart.
What say you?
So you said pattern and potential.
Mm-hmm. Pattern versus potential.
I think they're both important, but in between the pattern and the potential, the most important thing in that element to me is mindset. So we all have potential, we all have a pattern, and there's a bridge between that, right? And I think that bridge between that is your mindset. So where are you at? Because timing is everything in a relationship. Mm-hmm. You know, somebody that met Marvin 5 years ago met a different Marvin.
True.
Than, you know, his wife met.
True.
So his potential was probably the same, but his mindset towards his potential and his patterns, you know, those are 3 elements that have to play really well together. And unfortunately, you know, timing plays a huge role in that. So I'll say that to me, I want to know where you're at in terms of your mindset towards your potential. You know, because I could wake up and I know I can get away with doing 50% of my potential and outperform, you know, a lot of people. And I could be okay with that. Or I could wake up and say, you know what, I'm going to give it all I got. Nothing else matters right now but being successful and being a man of God and being an example because of what's going on. From an economic standpoint, and just needing a black man to be the blueprint to what could be, you know, possible. So I think the mindset to me is the most important thing. I want to know where a woman's mind is at.
That's nice.
Oh, wait, somebody asked for your website. What's your website again?
It's www.dkrgroupfinancial.com. dkrgroupfinancial.com.
There you go, guys. I put it in the comments on Facebook. My apologies. The actual goal with taxes is to break even, none owed, none refunded. Yeah, I like that.
I like that too. I want my money now.
And Bishop J.D. Mosley said credit shows character.
I agree. I totally agree. But sometimes, you know, life happens. So I can't say that, you know, when people do have problems, life can happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and okay, life can happen like divorce. Mm-hmm. Life can happen like medical reasons.
Definitely.
There is so much. So when you ask for these credit reports, men and women, make sure that you're assessing the full report. Mm-hmm. You know, you're not just saying, oh, but you're looking like, oh my God, well, did something happen? Well, my child got very, injured and blah, blah, blah. And then that's when you begin to find out different things. Like I know my friend Melita, when her situation happened almost a couple of years ago, like, yes, she was out of work for a long time trying to recuperate. So here it is. You can't take that person and say, let's say she missed some payments and things of that nature. And you'd be like, well, I don't want to be with her because look at her credit. You know, you couldn't do that. You could just, you got to get it right. So the next question, women, I'm asking your questions. You said, why do most men date several women? Is this a fear of being lonely or being alone? Which one?
Fear of being.
Is this a fear of being lonely or being alone?
I don't think it's either. I think that a man by nature is a hunter, right? So he's gonna date multiple women until one stops him in his tracks. And it's weird because it's not even a conversation. It's just one day you wake up and Lisa's the only one you're chilling with. And you didn't even recognize it. You're like, well, man, I hadn't talked to Cindy.
Look at Lisa out there like he love me. Thank you. I knew he's gonna pick me. I'm Lisa. It's me. Lisa, you are the winner. I'm just playing.
And it also comes back to the timing, right?
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
It comes back to the timing too. So where that man is in his mindset and what he's focused on, and I think women do the same thing. You meet women all the time that's focused on business right now, or becoming a nurse, and then they're dating multiple people. And as they transition into something that's more stable in their life, you'll notice that their relationships become more stable as well. So it's just timing and mindset.
Okay, now let's get it straight though. When you're saying dating, ladies, that doesn't mean, and men, because y'all do it probably. No, probably women and men do it both the same. That doesn't mean my legs open to multiples. Okay?
Right.
Let me click this because my students. So that doesn't mean that 5 men, I'm getting it in. 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 Hey, yeah, 5 men. That is not what it means.
Somebody's offended out there.
Yeah, I don't care because that's kind of hoish. Let's just be honest. That is not what dating means. And I think sometimes people get confused with dating, and that's called sleeping around.
Right.
Okay,
That's
two different things, you know. So you're giving yourself to everybody. You're laying down with everybody, and you know you're gonna want that health check, like he was talking about right here.
You need one every 3 months, like a oil change.
Probably every week if you're going through so many. I'm just playing. You know, mileage matters, ladies and men. But see, this is the thing that I don't like. I don't even think this is one of the questions, but I'm about to say something about it, and you guys can chime in. I don't understand how, which I understand in Christ, okay? Because God doesn't want us sleeping with a lot of people at all. He wants you to sleep with that one, which is your husband. But the world in which we live is different now. Not different as in it's okay. Different as it has happened. So since it has happened, women who have men are like, ugh, I don't want to be with her. But you, brother, you've done that. You have mileage. You got mileage. Right. But it ain't okay for your woman to have miles. Like, what? It's not okay for her to be a used car, you know, like, but you're a used car or not even a used car. Some of you men like rental cars, but you don't want a rental car. You know, so many drivers. So why is it that way? Because here it is. And that's why I'm saying just close your legs, period. Because why even allow them to touch you when it's going to be an issue? Do what thus says Lord. What say you?
And I think like we were saying before, I would say it's types of men and it's types of women. And like you said, the whole dating thing to when you're dating and when you're single, I think it's healthy to date around or date people, like you said, not sleep with them, but actually date. So you can figure out personality-wise, is this somebody I want to be with long-term? Or, like you said, the patterns or the potential, is it there? Because I know some couples that, like you said, may marry for potential and may marry in a pattern, and then you have to figure out long-term, is this person healthy for me to be with?
Yeah.
You know, because it could actually turn out bad and toxic, you know, in the end. And seeing multiple people as far as dating, I think is a healthy thing.
But not sleeping with them.
Right, not sleeping with them.
But so why is it okay for men, though? Do you think it's okay for men to do that?
Well, I want to say, I'm going to stick with the types of people. I think if your personality is set up like that, that's fine. And if your personality is set up where you want to be with one person, that's fine.
You can't, I'm not going to, I can't go for that way.
If your personality is hoish, it's okay. If you live in thought land.
It's already like countries are proving that adultery is cool, but it's not.
Right.
It's not. In the day, we have to realize, you know, even though a woman is more, they kind of keep it in. Men release it,
right?
Because like he said, they're hunters. Right. You guys go until you get it.
shrivel up.
But you know what? No. Let me say
Thank you.
this.
And that's Courtney, guys. I'd like it. Chime in. Chime in, brother. Speak up.
I struck a nerve, I think.
Yeah, you.
At the end of the day, you got to realize, treat everybody like you want to be treated.
True.
That sounds
your
good.
daughter. That's somebody's, mother,
Sister.
somebody's sister, somebody. You got to respect it across the board.
That sounds
True.
good. That's politically correct, but that's not the answer.
Oh. Well, see, he gonna speak from experience. Go
From
ahead.
experience, right?
As to what he does.
So, a man that finds the woman that he's compatible with and in harmony with and screws that up, that's just an idiot.
Right.
That's just and you got to understand, everyone gets their validation from somewhere. There's a guy that goes to work to get his validation. He's the manager. I'm the manager. That means something to him. That makes him feel like a man, right? And before you become a mature man, especially in the African American community, a lot of men get their validation from the women that they date.
No.
I'm telling you, I've experienced. I mean, that's normally between the age of 17 and 25, hopefully, right?
There still got to be a respect side of it. You can't.
No. I mean, it's not. I don't think there's a disrespect side to that. Hopefully,
Most men
in Atlanta, you can get away
men-
with dating multiple women and being truthful about it.
Yeah, but it's not. What I'm trying to get at, there's a spiritual side to it. It's not just dating a woman. In fact, because I could date multiple women, nobody wants
Is that on? Cause
No.
are they able to hear you?
No, I could be.
Okay, turn it on. But keep
Yeah,
going.
turn it on, 'cause
What
we can
now?
have this conversation.
You into this?
The way you approach it is different from I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to be.
But what you want?
You wouldn't want to be that woman dating him.
And I want my daughter because I gotta think about.
I
my
agree.
daughter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because then I gotta be that dad to concern myself about you. Because then I gotta check you if I have to, in a sense of like, are you the right man for my daughter?
Maybe we saying something different though. Because
Yeah.
if a young man is
So
dating,
I have two daughters.
if a young man is dating your daughter and he says, "Hey, I want to get to know you, but I'm dating other people,"
Mm-hmm.
and maybe
You
we
mean
should go catch.
is my daughter dating
No,
other people?
no.
Or you dating
I'm telling
other
your
people?
daughter I'm dating other people, but I really
I
want to
want
get to
you in
know
my
you.
house. I want
She's
you
probably
in my
dating
daughter.
other people too.
No, she won't.
Why wouldn't she? How's she
Because
gonna
I
meet
don't
me?
want her to.
How she's gonna meet me today on the
If
school
she
bus?
does, that's a problem. But I won't want her to do that because it's not good for her.
It is good for her.
We
She's
see. I
getting to know
think
herself. She's-
we're making sure they're not sleeping with
They're
him.
not sleeping with
No,
each other.
no.
Dating.
Okay, he's saying. I think he's saying dating.
Dating. I'm saying if I want to take her
Dating.
to the movies.
Because now my mom raised us to date other people.
Yeah.
And she says that you should date.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you're dating,
Then you
right?
start eliminating.
Then
You
you
eliminate.
start filtering out and then you'll find that person, that one. So
Exactly.
I'm not going out sleeping, having
Right.
sex,
Right.
or any type of sexual contact with that
You
person
don't go
or
to the
those
movies
people.
One time and get married. Or you,
No, you don't. No,
you
I'm
see
not
what I'm
saying that.
saying?
I'm
You're
just
saying what you're saying is if I'm going shopping for a car, I should only test drive one car and I should buy it.
Oh no, because I'm
I
gonna
ain't
test
saying
drive a
that.
lot.
But
That's what I'm
if
saying.
you say dated, that's
I'm saying
fine.
dated. That's all I said, though.
Like sleeping around.
Oh,
No.
I said if I go take your daughter to the movies on Friday.
Right. No. And yeah.
You want to misinterpret people thinking that. Like you said-
Unfortunately, we have to define that, but dating is dating. Sleeping around, sleeping around. Unfortunately, we have to separate.
Because
Dating.
people don't
Right.
know how to date anymore.
Nobody know how to
Dating
Right.
is keeping your legs closed, men and women,
Totally
and
agree.
just going to dinner or going to a movie. And let me tell you, don't go on a first date to the movies.
You don't get to know
That's
that person.
dumb.
Right.
You know,
Right.
but I had to throw that in there. 'Cause don't ask me. So dating is just going out. Now, I had a friend who her man works for Delta, and he was like, hey, well, on our next date, can we go, I think it was like to the Bahamas, like just a quick trip. And she was like, And I said, well, it's weird to you, but since he does that, he probably does that often.
Right.
It's not weird to him. And he said, I'm going to get a room, you can get a room. Like,
Oh, wow.
I'm not approaching it like that. I just want to go somewhere where I like to have fun. And I was like, oh, well,
cool. When you
that's
add
cool,
that
but
part.
you don't know him yet.
Right.
I don't want to go to the Bahamas and you stuck there, sex trafficked, So you just got to be mindful of what you're doing.
Right.
But dating is dating. And I think our young people don't know that either. They they like, oh, because a boy will say, I mean, I heard a boy say this week, like, you know, suck my, and I'm like,
well, and you missed the second part.
What?
Don't add that.
Right.
But you know what? I'm gonna say this, man. Like, I honestly can go out and enjoy coffee and a conversation with a woman, and it be that.
Right.
And I'm not like, so where we going next? You know, like, to let something grow organically is a lost art. You know, and to let something develop into whatever it will be is a lost art. You know, men go on dates with expectations based on how much money they spent. And it makes no sense to me.
Right.
Then go somewhere where it's free, so you can just get to know that person without any hidden agendas. And, you know, women do the same thing. Like, you know, they look up a restaurant they could never afford to go to and say, this is where I want to go here.
Oh, I don't do that.
I met you yesterday. Could we do brunch in the morning? You know, like,
if I could take you somewhere, I will take you out. Like,
right.
But you got to,
because I like nice things.
You got to, but you got to make sure that the intention on both parts are genuine. Like,
I agree.
Am I attracted to you? Do I really want to get to know you, or do I know this is never going to go anywhere? But I really want to find out, you know, what that's like. You know what I'm saying? So really, you know, and that's why it's important not to go to the movies, because you can have a conversation with a person that's forced to articulate their self in a way where you really get a chance to understand who they are. Not Marvel Comics was great, let's do it again. No.
Right.
You coming to my house this time?
Right.
No. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
Can we go somewhere and have a real conversation about real values, real principles, and I can get an understanding of who you really are, and then I go home and cross-reference all that information and be like, you know what, never call her again.
Right. It's like you
That's
said,
true.
date, and then eventually you'll start eliminating those
Women
people.
do a better job of dating with intention than men. I'll say
Right.
that.
Right.
Dating.
Oh, women, they got your
dating.
name spelled out and everything on the first day. We gonna be married.
Right.
Don't, and
He
if
got
you
blue eyes.
over, if they
Marcus
over
just gonna have good hair.
35, they're like, oh my God, I gotta hurry up. You know,
Right.
he the one. Girl, he's
That-
not the one.
Right.
That is,
Right.
but that's scary too, though.
Yeah.
First date, what do you see yourself in 5 years? How many kids do you want? Wait a minute, can we
just
grow this thing
get
organically?
to know each
Like,
other?
Wait a minute now, like real, like I know you.
Can
like,
we
the time
eat?
clock's ticking
She
for
didn't
you.
brought us
Right.
the
It's not
water.
ticking for me.
She ain't brought us the water. Can I get a? I'm parched.
Right.
Can she pour the water? Ladies, you move fast. Here it says John is giving the real side, especially here in the metro. Like we don't live by Jesus. I don't know why. Do I live by Jesus all the time? I'm gonna be honest. I do not. You know, but dating is dating.
Right.
Date someone who has potential, but if you're dating them and they have a pattern, leave their tail alone. If their pattern is to sleep around, you might want to leave them alone. Okay? Yes, leave them alone. If their pattern is not to pay bills and you just hear him saying that, I pay that next month. I kind of do it this way. Then he's going to do that when you marry him. Or she's going to do that when you marry her. Because this is twofold. So if you are a man with a daughter, you set the example for the date. With sons, you show them with dates through your wife. Actions speak much louder than words.
Amen.
I agree with that
Yeah.
wholeheartedly. Thank you, Terrence Smith. Shout out. Yes. Whoop, whoop. Love you. You know it. You the best man known to man. I tell every man that. My uncle is the best. And that's my uncle. He is. I don't know any other man like him. I think that, like, when God made him, he was like, God, I'm tired. And then y'all were created. I'm just playing.
Lord have mercy.
I'm just playing.
But since we're talking about patterns and we're talking about men, I think one of the patterns that I'm experiencing or have experienced is in Atlanta, it's very challenging to meet a woman that hasn't been with a woman. It's very challenging to meet a woman that
we don't have
isn't
but
interested
11
in
minutes.
women. We got 11 minutes left, but that's a topic we really need to touch. And some men don't care because they want to take advantage of it, right? But if you're a man that's not looking to take advantage of that situation, you don't know if your girl's out shoe shopping with the homegirls or doing something. You know, it's like,
True.
you know what I'm saying? And but they think it's okay. So what happens is our patterns as men, they put a microscope on them. But we tend not to care too much about certain things. We're very passive until it's a real issue.
Yeah.
So we don't necessarily address patterns on the other side, but there's some issues and concerns as well. that we deal with as men, but we just don't talk enough, man. That's why I love coming here, because men get to talk,
right.
put things on the table that are normally overlooked.
Right.
You Marvin looking like, wait, brother, was that on the menu? I don't know. This a little early. What say you, Marvin?
No, I think that he's right. That's a subject that needs to be discussed, because I've watched a couple that I know kind of go through something similar. The woman went on a lot of girls trips.
That was a good trip.
Come back happy. What's that about?
He's like, man, she left and she was like, oh, life has got me down. She came back like,
right. So yeah, you're right. And then even, like you said, even take it a little further, where whether it be the man or the woman, where they're into threesomes. And that could end up going bad.
That's when you open Pandora's box. And
right.
when you do it, you can't control what happens. Mm-mm. There was a story of two guys that were close friends, older gentlemen. They got together and convinced both of their wives to have something similar to that. And the wives were already like, well, these are controlling men. They're financially well off, and
I know what it is.
They got together and they did it, and the women end up falling in love, divorcing the men, and they got married
with that money.
With 50% of what we take half of their stuff.
50 make 100.
Oh wow. Wow.
Mergers and acquisitions.
Hey, they got that nice beach house. Don't you wish you didn't do it?
Right.
Yeah. But that's what happens. I've heard so many people say that, like, oh, my husband, he was. I'm like, don't do it, girl. Don't do it. Mm-hmm. Oh no, but he doesn't. I mean, I want you. And I'm like, no. Why invite somebody into the bedroom? That's sacred. When God gave that to you and him, He gave it to you and him. Yes, it's to do whatever, and I do mean whatever. But I am saying. I am saying He didn't mean for Keisha, Becky, and Jane to roll through every once in a while. Right. That is not what God intended. That's not what He planned. That's not what He wants. And we should never, ever, ever do that. And I told a friend that. And then I had a friend that asked me, my husband, he think you, hold up.
Wait a minute.
I don't care what your husband thinks. You need to check him first of all. Because if he's looking over here, we got a problem there. And why would he want to see you and I together? Like, let's think on that part. Right. Come on. And if you open that, think about this. You open it to the wrong women, and she got your wife. And you over there by yourself, and they don't even lead you to dog. Come on, somebody. So let's just think,
man,
before we go asking for people to come into our bedroom.
Yeah.
Well, that's
God intended for you and your husband.
Incomplete people do things like that. A whole person. So it's so important to meet a person. That's why those conversations are
your
very
wife
important.
Laughing.
Oh, Gloria Smith. I saw that. Yeah. She connect the dots.
She like, wait. She said, baby, this got deep.
Man.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but it's so important to meet a whole person, man, and get to know that
true.
person, because incomplete people require validation of that nature outside of the relationship.
Are you a whole person?
I'm a whole person all day.
How do you know?
Because I make sure of it. I take self-assessments of myself, and I know where I'm weak at, and I know how to avoid those areas of people around me that won't take advantage of that. And hurt people. So I've been a hurt person.
Oh, wow. That's deep.
I've been a hurt person that went out and found what I needed to feel good temporarily. It's like medicine, right? Mm-hmm. But it comes at an expense to somebody else, right? And I think karma comes around, and eventually you get what you deserve, right? So hurt people, and incomplete people require things like, you'll meet a woman where she needs so much attention, you could never provide her enough attention. You meet men that way. Like, you could be the most amazing woman, and now you're in the mirror looking at yourself, questioning if you're whole, if you're pretty, if you're attractive because of what this man's doing, because he's incomplete or he's hurt.
True.
And that's why taking that time to get to know that person is so imperative, man. I think we're afraid of missing out and losing, right? But you're going to lose big time on the back end if you don't do that homework on the front end.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost.
That was important.
So you came to your wife complete. She came to you complete.
Yeah, and what we do even to this day, we work on ourselves. Right. And I think sometimes you focus on the other person in the relationship so much that you could cause problems. And like John said, think about yourself more so than always pointing the finger at the next person.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I checked myself. I didn't start doing it until I was like 25 years old. I always told people that, but I check myself. When I'm wrong, I apologize. I've done that. I've apologized to you when I've been wrong for things. I'm like, John, man, you know,
caught me off guard.
Like, because if I'm wrong, I've apologized to my friend Danielle. Now, whoever, when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I said, because a real woman knows how to apologize in her faults, in her weaknesses, when she is wrong, when she has fallen. And if she is the one at fault, she should apologize. God made me that way. But here's the thing. You always have to be progressing. You always have to be growing in whatever relationship it is, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a loving relationship. You must progress. And do not marry people because you feel obligated.
Oh, yeah.
Do not marry people because of money, of anything. You need to marry because you love them. Okay? And you cannot see yourself with anyone other than them. And if you saw them with somebody, it hurt to your core. That's when you marry. Guys, I want to say thank you, men, for coming. Thank you, Marvin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria. Shout out to Gloria. Yes, that's a part of growth, self-assessment. Your wife says self-assessment. Very important. And thank you, John, for coming. Guys, it's amazing. Great conversation. I like talking to you men. Like, all the time.
Yeah.
Great conversation. I appreciate the both of you. And I hope you'll come back again one day.
We will.
So that we can just rock. But we have to take this and make it larger than ever. I've been interviewing with men for a couple of years now, Court, I think. And I've been doing this a lot. And I want it to go further than just here in these closed walls.
Right.
So, men, if you're out there and you want to come on the show, come on, because I'm working on something and I'd like for you to be a part of it. I'd like for you to attend, but you might be on the panel. So remember that God loves you more than I could ever tell you that I could ever love you. You've been listening to That's What's Up with Jocasta this Saturday. I've had great guests, Marvin and John, on. It's always good to listen before you speak. This is Jocasta. And as always, you know what? Courtney's daughter graduates next Saturday. Courtney, we love you. Her name's Courtney. And congratulations. And guys, I'll be back in June, actually. But we'll do a little recording for you next week. We might replay this because this was fun. So you've been listening to Jocasta on That's What's Up with Jocasta on 108 Praise Radio, where we're always voicing the gospel.